जय श्री गुरु गौरांग गिरिधारी राधा ललित माधव जी की जय। रघुरमन बिहारी रघुनाथ बिहारी रघुनैन बिहारी जी की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन जी की जय। राधा दामोदर श्याम सुंदर गोकुल नंद राधरमन जी की जय। कृष्ण बलराम महाराज की जय। नित्य पृष्ठ ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद भक्तिवेदांत नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परिव्राज कचर्य स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद भक्तिवेदांत मधुसूदन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्य पृष्ठ विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ ओम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य वेदांत वामन गोस्वामी पृष्ठ विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत त्रिविक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद गोविंद महाराज की जय। नित्य पृष्ठ विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद भक्ति प्रमोद पुरी गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। पृष्ठ विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र सत्य श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर शिव प्रभुपाद की जय। परम भागवत शिव किशोर दास जी महाराज की जय। सप्तम गोस्वामी सच्चिदानंद शिव भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर की जय। वैष्णव सर्वभौम शिव जगन्नाथ दास जी महाराज की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ श्री गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। स्वरूप दामोदर रामानंद जी श्री गौर परिषद वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य शिव हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से को श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। नवद्वीप मंडल की जय। मंडल की जय। क्षेत्र मंडल की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। चार संप्रदाय चर आचार्य चरधाम की जय। रसेश्वरी क्रियेश्वरी वृंदावनेश्वरी श्रीमती राधा ठाकुरानी की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री रॉटरडम हॉलैंड संघ की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंद।
Sadhu Maharaj ki jai. Srila Bhaktivedanta Sadhu Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Zo, allemaal hartelijk welkom vandaag op deze zondag. Speciale gast. Ik zal een kleine introductie geven, want de meeste van jullie, of de meeste van jullie kennen Bhaktivedanta Sadhu Maharaj wel, maar ook een aantal mensen niet. Dus vandaar een kleine introductie. Bhaktivedanta Sadhu Maharaj is een discipel van Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj, onze dierbare Gurudev. En hij heeft Gurudev ontmoet in 99 was het, hè? In 1999. Tegelijk met mij. Ik heb Maharaj datzelfde jaar ook ontmoet. We waren allebei dezelfde tijd geïnitieerd. Dus we hebben een gelijke start met initiatie. En ja, daarna heb ik Maharaj vaak ontmoet in Nederland ook. En is die bij mij ook thuis vaak geweest. Dus vanaf het begin af aan ken ik Maharaj al. Dat heeft die initiatie. And sort of different now.
Still in Dutch.
In Dutch. In English is Lithuania. So he speaks fluently Russian, Polish, and every time when I'm meeting him, when I'm meeting Maharaj, he's speaking Dutch words to me. So he has something with languages. So he is very good in languages.
Hartelijk bedankt.
Hartelijk bedankt. Very lekker, heel lekker. Dus hij onthoudt heel snel talen. Dus
we kunnen met Maharaj.
Ja, we kunnen niet over Maharaj gaan roddelen, want hij So Maharaj is now, hij takes Shiksha van Bhaktivedanta Madhusudana Goswami Maharaj en Srimati Krishna Devi. En ja, ik wou het woord aan Maharaj geven. En er zijn na de lezing altijd mogelijkheden om vragen aan hem te stellen. Nou, hij is hier voor tot 4 juli is 4th of July is the last program, Maharaj?
Yeah.
4th of July. So we have 5 days program.
Check in Advaita.
There are special days coming this week also. The second.
Bhaktivinoda
Thakur's Tiro Bhaktiti.
That day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow. And Kunditya program, Kunditya Marjana. So these days are very important to come for Harikatha because it's very special days in our line. So I hope to see you again then. Ik hoop dat jullie ook allemaal bij deze dagen aanwezig zijn. En de programma's beginnen om 6 uur vanaf morgen. Dus het is alleen nu iets eerder begonnen omdat het weekend is. Maar vanaf morgen is het dan 6 uur. Dus tot 4 juli hebben we programma's. Maar ik heb gehoord, we hebben ook een andere gast komen in een andere mat. Dus het zal wat minder druk worden. Maar goed, zo is het. En hoe meer mensen in Nederland inspiratie geven, hoe beter. Mark, thank you for coming so much. And we are very happy and I hope to see you again and again.
So, Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurave Guruchandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Anandalilamaya Vigrahaya Mabadivicha Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Nityananda Namastubhyam Premananda Pradayane Kalo Kalmashanasha Jannavapataye Namaha Ajanulambita Bhujo Kanakavadato Sankirtanaya Kapitaro Kamalaya Vishwambaro Dujvaro Jugadharma Palo Vande Jagatpriya Karo Karunavataro Kanaka Jala Dagatro Nila Shonab Janetro Marigamadavara Balo Malati Kundamala Tarala Tarona Vesho Nila Pitambaresha Smarani Britani Kunje Radhika Krishna Chandra Tavaivasmi Najivame Tvayagna Iti Vigyarade Tvam Naimam Charanantike Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. First of all, my unlimited Dandavad pranams to the lotus feet of Shri Gurudev, Nitirla Pravishta Om Vishnupad Astotra Sata Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. Also to my exalted Shiksha Gurudevs, to all the Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga headed by Shri Rupa Goswami Pad, Tridandi Sannyasis. Yeah.
Ik ga het vertalen. I will translate in Nederland. Ik ga het naar Nederlands vertalen, want ik denk, wie begrijpt er geen Engels?
Does everyone understand English? Somebody cannot.
Zo, degene die geen Engels verstaan, die moet achterin gaan zitten en dan ga ik het daar.
You can do silently.
Yes, silently. I translate from the back in het Nederlands.
Yeah, in the Netherlands.
Ik ga achterin zitten en dan moeten jullie even dicht bij mij komen zitten.
Okay, thank you. Dank u wel. So, yes, and Rotterdam, Netherlands, and also those who are watching us online, Dandavad Pranam. So I'm very happy to be again in Holland after 14 years. Last time I was in Gurudev's Festival 2005. I was coming to Holland for Gurudev's festivals. Yes. And 19 years ago, just exactly 19 years ago, I met Indu Bhushan Prabhu when I came to Holland first for Gurudev's festival in Bodegraven, 2000. Yes. And then I saw many of you, but yes, Gurudev used to say this is a very special land. He was calling Holy Land.
Holy Land.
Hare Krishna. And Gurudev used to give Holland so much mercy, amazing amount of mercy. Okay, okay. You're okay if I do non-stop? You can cope with it.
Yeah.
If I okay.
Can you turn the sound a little bit louder?
Sound louder. Okay. Okay. Right. You can use actually this. So that
Yeah, but then maybe it's
no problem. It's not big volume. Let's see how it goes. Not necessarily. Oh, this is okay. This. So yes, Srila Gurudev gave a lot of mercy to Holland. In fact, that was the first land he visited outside of India back in 1996. So that's why devotees here are very special, because they have received so much mercy from Srila Gurudev. And the mercy of Vaishnavas is completely transcendental and unpredictable. We have to know that our progress in bhakti can go on only because of the mercy of the Vaishnavas. So mercy of the Vaishnavas makes us devotees, and the mercy of the Vaishnavas, they make us move in the devotional path. And in other processes, karma, jnana, and yoga, so much effort is put into your own endeavors, so you can achieve many things by your own endeavors. Well, here in the line of bhakti, also your endeavors are necessary. But the mercy of Guru, the mercy of Vaishnavas, they go first, and they are enlivening you. Sometimes we tend to think that the mercy of Vaishnavas is something we have to enjoy, is something we have to make object of our enjoyment, but that's quite wrong. Param Gurudev Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj has written the whole article saying that the mercy of the Vaishnavas is not motivated by anything. It's completely transcendental, and it's not understood by mundane senses. I have to wait while he translates. Am I speaking too fast?
No, it's okay.
It's okay. All right. All right. So many great days are coming related to Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Disappearance day of his dear associate Sri Gadadhara Pandit Prabhu, just day after tomorrow. Also closely related to Gadadhara Pandit Prabhu, Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur, day after tomorrow, also disappearance. Then Rath Yatra on the last day of our meetings, on the 4th. That's Rath Yatra in Jagannath Puri, original Rath Yatra. And the just day before that, Gundicha Marjana, the cleaning of Gundicha temple day, 3 days after. So just coming up to that, we'll hear some Gaura Lila, very, very sweet Gaura Lila. So I think everyone is a devotee here, more or less. So you know about Gauranga Mahaprabhu, don't you? Okay, you know. So you can see Gauranga here in the altar, the big Gauranga, the small Gauranga. So Mahaprabhu spent 24 years as a grihasta and 24 years as a sannyasi. So 2 parts of his life. Grihijana Shikshaka Nyasikula Nayaka Sri Sachinandana Gaohe. So he was the great example for grihastas and also perfect example for sannyasis both. So in fact, grihastas, householders and sannyasis are people of the same line. So we can say also that grihastas are sort of sannyasis. Why not? Like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there's actually no difference. If you have a house, well, make a preaching center out of it. Little preaching center. Inevitably it will become. Tell about Krishna, your neighbors, your relatives. But he was not really a grihasta, but I mean, he's a young sannyasi right now. So, but still Nimai took sannyas. First Nimai became bhavuk. Nimai became devotee. As you remember, first he was absorbed in logical debates. He was absorbed in the art of logic, nyaya, and verbal roots. So he was not expressing his how to say, ultimate purpose of arrival, of coming here openly. But then he became bhavuk. When he became bhavuk, he was completely absorbed in Krishna, in the mood of Srimati Radhika. So as Jiva Goswami said, Antar Krishna Bahir Gaura. So he was really calling for Krishna in the mood of Radhika. And finally he took sannyas. How it happened? One day, when Gauranga was remembering pastime of the gopis of Vrindavan, he was in the mood of the gopis. He was sitting and calling out, Gopi, Gopi, Gopi. So he was having Brahmana students, and one of them was quite atheistic. So he was not understanding the real purpose of why Nimai was calling out Gopis, Gopis, Gopi, Gopi, Gopi. And he said, Oh Nimai Pandit, you're well versed in the scriptures, aren't you? So why are you calling out Gopi, Gopi, Gopi? All the scriptures are saying you have to call out Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So why aren't you calling Krishna's name? This is advised in the Vedas. So that Muda Mate, that how to say, the educated fool, the atheistic Brahmana was wrong in his estimation, but the mood of the Lord was very, very deep. Actually, he was remembering how Lalita was advising Srimati Radhika when Radhika was in a deep mood of separation with Krishna. So in those deep, deep moods he was absorbed in. So he answered that student. He said, oh, that thief Krishna. Krishna is thief. And when he came as Vamanadev, then he begged 3 pieces of land from Bali Maharaj. And finally he left Bali Maharaj without anything. So how can I benefit by chanting his name? He's a thief. So actually the gopis, they remember about Krishna's pastimes in the previous incarnations from grandmother Purnamasi. The Purnamasi Devi was telling them about how Krishna was Ramachandra before, how he was Vamanadev before. So the gopis, they have their own angle of vision. They were saying, oh, he's actually a thief. He's actually a thief, so no need to trust him. He's just a black cheater and thief. So in that mood, you know, when somebody was speaking something about Srimati Radhika, Gauranga could not tolerate. So he took a stick and ran towards the student. So that student immediately fled in fear of his life. So Gauranga was so ferocious. He could not tolerate that Krishna's dearmost, actually Krishna's Swami, so stick and jumped up and, you know, that student fled for his life. So seeing the Lord in this mood, the devotees quickly caught hold of him and calmed him down. Oh, please calm down, please calm down. Especially Nityananda. Nityananda was always able to calm Gauranga down. No one else could sometimes calm him down. Only Lord Nityananda.
Pacify.
Yes, pacify. Because Balaram can stabilize even Krishna in so many ways. So what can be more exalted than Gopi's mood? So Gauranga was absorbed in Gopi's mood. When one receives sannyas, one receives Gopi mantra. It's very, very deep. In fact, sannyas mantra is equal to what's that? Krishna mantra or Gopala mantra, but it's still it goes deeper. It brings you to Gopi's mood quicker. So it's very, very symbolic that Gauranga took sannyas, because if one takes sannyas, one vows to follow the gopis. And Krishna, Gauranga Mahaprabhu is Krishna who vowed to follow the gopis, means to follow Radhika's mood. So as a sannyasi, he became a beggar for Radhika's mood. So he was begging. Krishna is finally begging at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Oh, please let me into your kunja. Please break your man, break your jealous anger. So Gauranga is that sort of beggar. That's why nothing more exalted from the gopi than the gopis' mood. So the gopis are calling themselves the unpaid maidservants of Krishna. But actually, Krishna ends up serving them. So that's his highest position. So when finally Krishna finds himself at the lotus feet of the gopis, of the lotus feet of Radhika, then he's satisfied, completely satisfied. When Radhika becomes Swadhina Bhartrika, when she becomes completely controlling Krishna, then Krishna is fully satisfied. So you can see the deities of Radha, Lalita, Madhava just on the right of the altar. So you see Lalita Madhava. Lalita Madhava is that Krishna who is fully under the control of Swadhini Bhartrika Radhika. So his head is like this, leaned back, so he's completely satisfied. So Krishna wants to be controlled by his devotees, but specifically Krishna wants to be controlled by Radhika. That's why Krishna took sannyas. Gauranga Mahaprabhu took, like Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he shaved his wonderful head and took sannyas. Gauranga's long hair was very, very wonderful, wavy hair, like Krishna's, but he shaved that hair, and she became golden, completely golden. His head also golden, completely golden. No, nothing black, just one tuft of hair at the back. So he became fully covered with Srimati Radhika's mood, even his head. So in the form of a sannyasi, Gauranga was exhibiting his Radha Bhava to all the world in Jagannath Puri. But before Jagannath Puri, also many things happened. So today we'll hear how Gauranga Mahaprabhu took sannyas, and right after sannyas, what happened right after sannyas, how he came to the house of Sri Advaita Acarya. All those lilas over here today.
Near Dorigat?
No, just after the Nirga we'll just mention a little in the introduction. So, so that student who had rebuked the Lord ran, and then he met with his friends, and he was out of breath, in a state of complete bewilderment. And he said, he was not able to speak actually. So his friends said, "What had happened to you?" They asked with deep concern, and the student replied, "Oh, everybody says that Nimai Pandit is such a pious person, but actually today I could find him chanting Gopi Gopi. What kind of behavior is that? Sentimentalism? Gopi Gopi. Where is it said in the scriptures to sing, to chant Gopi Gopi?" So he was even cursing and abusing Krishna. He said that Krishna is a thief and a cheater, like this.
Debauchee.
Yeah, he mentioned that Krishna, as Vamanadev cheated Bali Maharaj and deprived him of all of his possessions, made him a slave actually. So he was even cursing and abusing Krishna. I told him to chant Krishna, Krishna, but why? Because it's advised in the scriptures. But he became upset and chased after me with a stick. Imagine that, what kind of behavior. So I'm lucky to be alive, because he was as mad, he could easily finish me. So his fellow students felt sorry for him and started to criticize the Supreme Lord Vishwambar. They even considered beating him. So those atheistic, some of them were quite actually atheistic, means they were logicians, and they were not recognizing Krishna Bhakti as the ultimate path. But some of the students who were understanding Nimai, they were very, very positive about Krishna Bhakti. So they followed Nimai's Sankirtana movement. Very, very soon after that, he started his Sankirtan movement. So what, Lord Vishwambar, he is supporting all the world, so he knows the heart of everyone. So although his atheistic students were speaking badly about him, he told them Oh no, he was thinking, I came here to save the people of this world by giving them the name of Krishna. So now people criticize me, so I have to save the situation somehow, because I have to make them listen to me. You know, if you want to save someone, first of all, you have to make sure that person listens to you, that person accepts your words in your mood. So in order for the whole world to listen to him, Gauranga decided to take sannyas. So he decided, I will leave home, I will shave my head, and I will take sannyas. So I will become a renounced monk. And since people generally in the society, they respect sannyasis, so they will respect me and they will listen to me. So that's understood, and that was very practical. So he was very fixed in his decision, and he took Nityananda aside and asked his permission. Oh, Nityananda, I want to leave home. Can you please allow me to leave home? I want to become a sannyasi. Nityananda replied, oh, you always wish the best for all people, so you can do whatever is best, but please first ask the Vaishnavas what they think about your plan. So that's very good etiquette, because even the Lord himself, you can see, he asked his first expansion, he asked his best associate Nityananda about his important decision. So, but Nityananda said what? Go to the Vaishnavas and you ask them. So when when we were taking sannyas, that was the system also. Gurudev was sending us to all the Vaishnavas. You please take blessings. You go take blessings from all the Vaishnavas. So we were coming to all sannyasis, not only sannyasis, the senior Vaishnavas, and they were giving us blessings, and it's very, very important. So following Nityananda's advice, Lord Vishwambara spoke to his closest associates, Mukunda, Gadadhar, and some others, Paramananda Puri, I think, Paramananda Bharati's seniors. There were sannyasis also. So although they were shocked when they heard the news that Gauranga wanted to take sannyas voluntarily, still they accepted his plan because they were so much, they so much loved him. So one day, just before sannyas, Vishwambara told Nityananda, oh, my dear Nityananda, tomorrow is the day of Makara Sankranti. That's the important day. So the sun will change its route towards northern direction. So that's a very auspicious day for taking sannyas. So I have to go to Katwa and take shelter of Keshava Bharati, the great personality. So please only tell about that 5 persons: my mother, Shachi, and Gadadhara, Brahmananda, Chandrasekhar, Acarya, and Mukunda. So Gauranga chose those 5 personalities. And that night, a few hours before sunrise, Sri Gaurahari silently walked towards the door of his house, and he intended to live forever. Just before that, he took some loki type of pumpkin from Kolavecha Sridhar, and he made Mother Sachi cook his favorite preparation, loki. Yes, milk and pumpkin preparation. And yes, what's that? Lokil. And you know better, you can cook.
But not Lokil.
Lokil, yes. It's,
just for milk.
Yes, for milk. So Vishnupriya, who was his young wife, who was I think just 14, she could feel that something important, something actually fatal would happen. So she was thinking, oh, my husband is so gentle with me today. Generally, he was not noticing me, but today he's so gentle. He has brought some flowers and he has decorated my hair with flowers. And he was talking to me very sweetly. Normally, he was not noticing me, but he was talking to me so sweetly. So she was thinking when the candle is about to extinguish, it burns very, very bright, yeah, and then gives puck, 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 and extinguishes. So she was thinking, okay, bright candle, but soon to be extinguished. So he took a vow not to sleep all night. But Yogamaya became great, great weight upon her eyelids, eyelids, and then finally closed her eyelids, and she fell fast asleep. So then Gauranga could leave. He could see Shachimata standing in the courtyard of the house like a statue, And he circumambulated his mother several times, and he said, "Mother, I'm leaving to look out for my Lord, to find out my Lord Krishna." And he left. He crossed the Ganga near Ghat, means unmerciful Ghat, unmerciful, and he left. He left forever. So and he told his mother, actually, in billions and billions of years, I could never repay your love for me. And very, very sweet words also, he said. And then tears rolled down her cheeks as she bore intolerable pain. So Nimai touched her feet and placed the dust on her head very, very sweetly. And he crossed the Ganga, and he met with Nityananda, Gadadhar, Brahmananda, Chandrasekhar, and Mukunda. And then together they went to the house of Keshava Bharati. And when Keshava Bharati saw the divinely beautiful form of the Lord, he rushed to greet him with great respect. And Keshava Bharati said, "Oh, I know that you are the guru of the universe. So to teach the world, you want to accept spiritual master and progress in spiritual life, and you chose me to be your guru, sannyas guru." So he recognized that, he knew that. So the next day, thousands of people wept as Lord Gauranga's beautiful hair was being shaved. The barber, whose name was, I forgot his name. You remember his name? I forgot his name, sorry. He was not able to hold his scissors and razor. He was not able to hold his instruments, and then finally, when he understood that he had to perform the task, and he cursed his fate, he cursed his profession, he changed his profession, he became a sweet seller after that. Oh, Madhu, his name was Madhu. His name was Madhu. So, and then how did the initiation happen, really? The Lord said to Keshava Bharati, "Oh, I had a dream in which a great personality came to me and spoke the sannyas mantra. I had that dream. Please listen to that mantra. Please check if it's correct or not." And then he whispered sannyas mantra into the ear of Keshava Bharati. So in that way, he initiated Keshava Bharati. So then Keshava Bharati said, "Oh yes, that's the best of the mantras." And he gave that mantra back into the ear of Nimai. So Nimai got another name. His name became Sri Krishna Caitanya. So Chaitanya means consciousness. Chetana means consciousness, and Chaitanya is rather state of consciousness. So he specially took sannyas in order to give Krishna Chaitanya, or Krishna consciousness, to the whole world. That's the purpose of his sannyas. External. Internal, we know. The three internal desires of Krishna. When Krishna returned to spiritual world, to Goloka Vrindavan, he had three unfulfilled desires. Shri Radha Pranay Mahima Kidrishavana Eva Swadyanad Bhutamadurima Kidrishav Madhya Saukyam Chasimanodabotam Kidrisham Vitilobat Tadvadissamajani Suchigarbha Sindhu Harindu. So three unfulfilled desires he was having. What is the depth of Srimati Radhika's love? What is the beauty of his own incomparable qualities, which are available only to her in her love, because she has Madanakya Mahabhav and deepest moods. And what exactly she feels when she is meditating upon his wonderful qualities, like a sugar doll. Sugar doll cannot understand how sweet he or she is. So you have to take help from some relisher. So Gauranga had to become a relisher because the topmost relisher, who is that? The gopis and Shrimati Radhika. And when we call him Radhanath and Gopinath, it means he is fully under the shelter of gopis, under the shelter of Radhika, in the anugatya, in the mood, how to say, following their mood. So Krishna following the gopis' mood, Krishna following Radha's mood is not no one else but Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. It's completely amazing incarnation, not incarnation, the avatari, the root of all incarnations. In fact, there is no other incarnation, no other personality, divine personality having two features, male and female simultaneously. Means Bhagavan and his Shakti together in one body. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Ladini Shakti Rasmate Katmanam Apivu Ikura Deha Bedam Gatotu. Chaitanya Kyam Prakata Manudam Tadvayam Chakyam Aptam Radha Bhavati Suvulitam Nomi Krishna Surupam. Nomi, this Krishna Swarupa is covered with the Radha Bhava. Bhava and Kanti means the mood and the color, bodily hue, completely golden. So that's most amazing, most incomparable incarnation. In one body there are two. But Prakata Madhunam, now, that form of him and her together, that form, which is the original form actually, is now here again in the body of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. Because for the sake of the pastimes, they divided, he divided himself into two. Like him and her and him, Radha and Krishna. So Hladini Shakti Rasmat, Hladini Shakti made it two for the sake of the pastimes. So Radha and Krishna, female and male. That's why we say Hare Krishna. But Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu was chanting Hare Krishna, and through his pastimes we could feel how Radha and Krishna are one. In the depth of his bhav, he was hearing about that and he was losing consciousness. In the talks with Raya Ramananda, in the talks with Nityananda, his first meeting with Nityananda, those amazing pastimes, he was just unable to continue to stay in the external consciousness. So he was very deeply immersed in trance. So here, something about that today also. So that's why he took sannyasa, and he heard that mantra he had given actually to Keshava Bharati. So at that moment, all who were present, they chanted the Lord's name, Hari, Hari, Hari. So thousands and thousands of devotees, they resounded the name of Hari, and it reverberated in the sky. So thus Vishwambar had taken sannyas, and he dressed himself in saffron garments and took up a staff and a water pot. So later, Nityananda was the person who broke that staff, who broke that danda. Well, I think we'll hear about that tomorrow, how exactly it happened. But just I want to say that only Nityananda could break his danda in three and throw it into the river. So Keshava Bharati thought, oh, Vishwambar is unique. There is nobody like him in the three worlds. I want to give him a special sannyasa name. And he gave him the name Sri Krishna Caitanya. Sri Krishna Caitanya. So, by the will of Gauranga, by the will of sanction of Yogamaya, that name was given. So he had to give Krishna consciousness to all over the world. And also he was looking for Krishna consciousness within his heart. And who is in the highest Krishna consciousness? Certainly Srimati Radha Thakurani. She's most Krishna conscious personality. That's why she is called Krishnamayi, Krishnamati, and yes. So Krishna is always on her mind. So that's why. Ya sambrindaya patranaya tha gauram vrindavanam gandhumana brahmadya rodhe brahmanchanti param ayutta lalasa bhakti rihatam nanosmi. After accepting the sannyasa order of life, Gauranga, out of intense love of Krishna, wanted to go to Vrindavan, but apparently by mistake he wandered to the Radha Desh. Later he arrived at Shantipur and enjoyed himself there with his devotees. So we'll hear about those pastimes today. So when 24 years of his life were finished, he took sannyas, and after accepting sannyas, he started for Vrindavan, because Vrindavan is the place for sannyasi. But he was mistakenly wandering continuously for 3 days, but he still found himself in Radha Desh, in Navadvip Mandala. Why wasn't Gauranga going to Vrindavan at once? And when he finally came, I think his third attempt was successful and finally went to Vrindavan. He spent there only 2 weeks. Why? Because Vrindavan was not meant for him to stay long. If he'd stayed in Vrindavan long, then his Krishnatva, his qualities of Krishna would have manifested, but that was not needed. When he came to Vrindavan, immediately so many participants of Krishna Lila, deer, peacocks, peahens, and many trees of Vrindavan, many living entities. They became ecstatic and they came to him. The cows started licking his transcendental body. But very soon he had to leave. Actually, he had to go to Jagannath Puri, because Jagannath Puri is Dwaraka. So Krishna, who is staying in Dwaraka, is remembering Vrindavan with big eyes. Jagannath. We'll discuss this. We'll discuss that lila in 4 days, discussing Rath Yatra. But just before that, just before going to Jagannath Puri, he met the residents of Navadvip for the last time in the house of Advaita Acarya. So we'll hear about that today. He was passing through a tract of land known as Radha Desh, and he was chanting this verse by Avanti Brahmana. Etam sastaya paradmanishtam adyatam purvatama mahatmadi aham tarshiyani darataparam tamo mukundam gri nishevya aiva. So this is a verse quoted by Avanti Brahmana. Avanti Brahmana was a very rich merchant. That's a story from Srimad Bhagavatam. Avanti Brahmana was a very rich merchant, but he was very miserly. And being very miserly, he was such a miser that he was too lazy to spend money for himself. Even he was just accumulating, just putting aside. But then those people who were supposed to receive money from him, they became so disturbed and they became turned against him. So then, by the will of fate, he lost all of his money. And those people, they started rebuking him. They started punishing him. He became a street beggar. So he was sitting in the street and begging with a begging bowl. But they were coming with sticks, they were beating him, they were urinating into his begging bowl, they were stealing his clothes. He was having just 2 pieces of cloth, they were stealing that, etc., etc. But still very humbly, he was accepting that as teaching from the fate. And he offered many prayers, and one of them was this: I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of nescience, by being firmly fixed in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna. Thus, I will take that practice which was approved by previous acharyas, who were fixed in firm devotion to the Lord, Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, all the Guru Parampara was fixed in the Krishna consciousness, was fixed in achieving Krishna's mercy, and they were all Nishkinchana. They were having no possessions. As you remember, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavana, they were having just gopins. They were all dedicated to Krishna. So Avantik Brahmana, he offered so many prayers, and that was the beginning of his sannyas. But at that point, that was the beginning of Mahaprabhu's sannyas. And he showed all the necessary examples for the sannyasis. So very many things for us to study from here. So Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada is saying in the commentary that sannyas means samyak rupananyas, means full renunciation. And negative aspect, but Srila Bhakti Rakshasa Sridhar Maharaj saying that also positive aspect. That's okay. That's okay. Oh, like this. You cannot see nicely. All right. So also positive aspects. Through sannyas, you gain so much. You gain the realization of Krishna. You gain the taste for the holy name. You gain so many things, transcendental things. So even demigods, they appreciate the position of a sannyasi so much. But Srila Gurudev gave that mercy. We're still trying to be qualified. Very, very high responsibility. So Mahaprabhu showed by his own example how high it was. That's why he quoted that verse by Avantik Brahmana. I'm firmly fixed in achieving Krishna consciousness. I'm taking that vow to become, the seeker of truth. So Mahaprabhu approved the purport of this verse. And the real purpose of accepting sannyas, Kaviraj Goswami is saying, is to dedicate oneself to the service of Mukunda. By serving Mukunda, one can actually be liberated from the bondage of material existence. So Mahaprabhu did it. So he was going to Vrindavan, and all the ecstatic symptoms were manifesting in his body. But Nityananda Prabhu, Chandrasekhar, and Mukunda, they were following him. And Nityananda knew the plan of the Lord, and Nityananda knew that the reality had to be different. So that's why he made a trick. Nityananda saw some boys, some cowherd boys, and he told them, "Oh, when mendicant will be passing through and will be chanting Hari Hari, and he will be asking where Vrindavan is, you please tell him, oh, Vrindavan is the opposite way. You point towards Navadvip, you point towards Radhadesh." So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came, the boys showed the wrong direction. Deliberately, they showed the wrong direction. So he headed towards Navadvip. He was on the bank of the Ganges, and he was absorbed in very deep ecstasy. Nityananda Prabhu requested Chandrasekhar Acarya to immediately go to Advaita Acharya's house and tell that the Lord was coming. So Acharya Ratna Chandrasekhara did that, and they prepared everything for the Lord's arrival. And Mahaprabhu was absorbed in deep ecstasy, and he asked Nityananda, "Where are you going?" And Nityananda said, "Oh, I'm bringing you towards Vrindavan. I'm just clearing your way to Vrindavan." So he cheated him. So Nityananda told him, "Just see, this is the river Yamuna." And then Mahaprabhu saw Yamuna, saw the Ganga, but he was thinking that it was Yamuna. And the Lord said, "Oh, what good fortune, now I have seen Yamuna." So he started glorifying Yamuna. Chidanandavana Sadananda Suno Paraprema Patri Brava Brahmagatri Aghanam Lavitri Jagat Kshemadhatri Pavitri Kriyano Purnetra Putri. That's from the Chaitanya Chandradaya Natak, Pranama of Yamuna Devi. O River Yamuna, you are blissful spiritual water. You give love to the son of Nanda, and you are same as the water of spiritual world, for you can vanquish all the offenses, sinful reactions. And O daughter of sun god Surya Putri, please kindly pacify us by your pious activities. So, so he was standing on the bank, and then he immersed himself in the waters of Yamuna, and then he went out of the water, and he was wondering how to change. Is there any dry cloth? But then Advaita Acarya all of a sudden arrived in the boat, bringing new underwear for Mahaprabhu. So when Advaita arrived, and the Lord offered, he offered obeisances to the Lord. Now Advaita was very happy, because before Advaita was like a senior. He was a senior actually. Gauranga was offering him pranams, and so Advaita was not happy. Advaita, even in order for the Lord to chastise him, he started deliberately teaching Advaita Vedanta philosophy. Advaita, so it's the misinterpretation. So when Gauranga came to know that, he came and started beating the old man with a stick. And Sita Thakurani was trying to stop him. Hey, you will kill the old man. So that was the previous pastime. But now Advaita was very happy, because he was officially able to offer obeisances every time he could see the Lord, because he was a sannyasi now. So after seeing Advaita, the Lord began to wonder, why did you come here? How come you knew that I was in Vrindavan? What brought you here? So Advaita saw that, wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. Now it is my great fortune that you have come to the bank of the Ganga. Oh, Gauranga Mahaprabhu said, Ganga? Oh, Nityananda has cheated me. He has brought me to the bank of the Ganga and told me that this is Yamuna. And Advaita Acharya said, wherever Nityananda Prabhu has told you is not false, because this is really Yamuna. In this place, in the place where that was, Yamuna, Yamuna is meeting Ganga in Prayag. Now it's called Allahabad. So on that very bank, that was really Yamuna side. So that was true. That was Yamuna.
That was called Prayag.
Yeah. Then Advaita Acharya suggested that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you please take your bath in Yamuna. Sorry, it was a bit later. So he took his bath in Yamuna, and then Advaita gave him the fresh clothes, fresh gopin. So Advaita said, you have been fasting for 3 days in your ecstasy of love of Krishna. You're not noticing what is the day and what is the night. So I have prepared some feast for you. I have prepared prasad. You please come and take your alms. Please visit my residence. So he invited Gauranga there. And at my home, I just cook just 1 palmful of rice, he said. It was much more. We'll hear huge amount of preparations Gauranga received. But he said, just like, in order to attract a sannyasi, 1 palmful of rice I cooked for you. So, and also no luxurious food, no luxurious vegetables and spinaches and anything. So please don't be afraid. Come for a palmful of rice. So saying that, Advaita took the Lord into the boat and brought him to his residence. And there Advaita washed his feet and was consequently very, very happy. Now the period of Advaita's happiness really came, because he had to serve was able to always serve the Lord, was able to always
respect the Lord as a sannyasi, worship his feet like this, wash his feet like this. So very, very happy life for Advaita Acarya. But then what? After that, Gauranga left for a long time. So Advaita Acarya personally offering everything to Vishnu. Actually, huge feast was offered. Whatever he had prepared was divided into three equal parts. One part was arranged on a metal plate for Krishna, and one was arranged on a metal plate. The other two were arranged on plantain leaves. So these leaves were not bifurcated, and they were taken from a banana tree that held at least 32 branches of bananas. Two plates were filled very nicely with the kinds of food distributed below. So see, the whole amount of feast is now enumerated, so just listen and relish, okay? So the cooked rice was a stack of very fine grains, nicely cooked, and in the middle was yellow clarified butter from the milk of cows. Surrounding the stack of rice were pots made of skins of banana trees, and in these pots were varieties of vegetables and mung dal. Among the cook's vegetables were patola, squash, manakachu, and salad made with pieces of ginger and various types of spinach. Mahaprabhu used to like, I think, 21 or 22 types of shak. Yes, I remember. I don't forget. Bad mathematician. I don't remember the figures, but 20 something types of spinach. There was sukta, bitter melon, mixed with all kinds of vegetables, defying the taste of nectar. There were 5 types of bitter and pungent suktas. And amongst the various vegetables, there were newly grown leaves of neem trees fried with eggplant, the fruit known as patola, and fried with pulabari, kind of dal preparation, first mashed and then dried in the sun. There was also preparation known as Kushmanda Manachaki. Okay, are you still translating? The preparation made with coconut pulp mixed with curd and rock candy was very sweet. It was a curry made of banana flowers and squash boiled in milk, all in great quantity. There were small cakes in sweet and sour sauce and 5 or 6 kinds of sour preparations. All the vegetables were so made that everyone pleasant could take prasad. There were soft cakes made with mung dal, soft cakes with ripe bananas, and soft cakes made with urad dal. There were various kinds of sweetmeats, condensed milk, mixed with rice cakes, coconut preparation, every kind of go. These pots were very strong and big and did not tilt or totter. All around the 3 eating places were 100 pots filled with various kinds of vegetables. Along with the various vegetables was sweet rice mixed with ghee. This was kept in Indeed, it is not possible to describe all the preparations that were made. Kaviraj Goswami was just, okay, I'm stopping here. And right, some more preparations. He's saying I'm not able to describe. Jay, so there were so many. So upon the stack of boiled rice and all the vegetables were flowers of tulsi trees. There were also pots filled with scented rose water. There were 3 sitting places where soft cloths were placed. Thus Lord Krishna was offered all the food, and the Lord took it very pleasantly. In the system, it is the system after offering food to perform Bhogarati. So Advaita Prabhu asked the 2 brothers, Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, to come see the Arti, and the 2 lords were very happy to come and see the Arti. There were then Arti was performed, and to Thakurji, to the deity, then
deity?
Krishna said Krishna was made lie down to rest. So after that, Advaita Prabhu said to Gauranga, my dear Lord, kindly enter this room. The two brothers, Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, came forward to take the prasad in that room. So when Lord Gauranga and Nityananda went to accept the prasad, they both called Mukunda and Haridas, but very, very humbly they refused, especially Haridas. Mukunda said, oh my dear sir, I have something to do that's not yet finished. Later I'll take the prasad. And Haridas Thakur, oh no, later I'll take just some small amount outside. Because he was very shy. Yeah, Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur ki jai. So Mahaprabhu was especially very pleased, and he said, frankly, I will personally take the lotus feet of anyone who can offer Krishna such nice food and place those lotus feet on my head birth after birth. So all glories to Advaita Acarya and Sita Thakurani, the best cooks, and so many great cooks also, Raghava Pandit and Damayanti, and Mahaprabhu was having so many devotees who were inviting him for prasadam. But that feast is especially famous in the house of Advaita when Mahaprabhu took sannyas. Then
that you not taking.
Yes. Then after so many residents of Navadvip came to see him last time. We'll hear about that today. So when Mahaprabhu entered the room, he saw 3 divisions of food, and he saw that all of these were meant for Krishna. He misunderstood. He was thinking all of the 3 were meant for Krishna, but however, he did not understand the intention of Advaita Acharya. Mahaprabhu said, let us sit down in these 3 places and we shall take prasad. But Advaita Acharya said, I shall distribute the prasad. So Mahaprabhu thought that all the 3 servings were meant for distribution. Therefore, he asked for another 2 banana leaves, saying, let us have a very little quantity of vegetable and rice. Advaita said, just sit down here, on these seats. Catching their hands, he set them both down. Mahaprabhu said, it's not proper for a sannyasi to eat such a variety of foods. If he does, how can he control his senses? Mahaprabhu starts teaching, from the point of view of sannyasi, completely new. How sannyasi should behave. And on so many occasions in Jagannath Puri and before, Gauranga was showing that a sannyasi should not overeat. So little, a huge feast, and a sadhu takes a little from each preparation, not for satisfying one's tongue. So when Mahaprabhu did not accept the food that had already been served, Advaita said, please give up your concealment. I know what you are, and I know the confidential meeting of your accepting the sannyas order. Advaita Acharya thus requested Mahaprabhu to eat and give up juggling words. The Lord replied, I cannot certainly eat so much. But Advaita still requested, oh, please accept the prasad without pretense. Just take prasad, Sometimes, what to speak of Advaita, but devotees who are lovingly offering prasad, sometimes the loving, Guru or High Vaishnava cannot refuse also. And on the request of the householders, he eats a lot because he wants to please them. That's not, a deviation from sannyas dharma. That's sometimes, it may look like a slight deviation, but it's actually love exchange. So if Mahaprabhu could not eat at all, the balance could be left on the plate. So Mahaprabhu said, oh, I will not be able to eat so much food, and it's not the duty of a sannyasi to leave remnants. In this connection, Advaita referred to Mahaprabhu's eating in Jagannath Puri. So Advaita said, oh, the amount of food that these people can eat does not considered even a morsel for you. In proportion to that, these edibles are not even 5 morsels of food for you. Advaita continued, oh, by great fortune, you have just come to my home. Please do not juggle words, just begin eating and do not talk. Advaita can say that to the, do not talk, just eat. So upon saying this, Advaita supplied water and the two lords to the two lords so that they could wash their hands, and the two lords sat down and smiling began to eat the prasad. And Nityananda Prabhu said, I have undergone fasting for 3 days continuously. Today I hope to break my fast. After Mahaprabhu was thinking that the quantity of food was enormous, Nityananda, the country, thought it's not even a morsel. He had been fasting for 3 days, Nityananda, you know. When he eats, he eats. When he drinks. Remember, he drank the whole huge jug. I don't know how many liters there were. Many. So, huge amount of prasad also is able to consume very easily. So, Advaita replied, Sir, you're a mendicant traveling on pilgrimage. Sometimes you can eat fruits and roots, and sometimes you can simply go on fasting. So, I'm a poor Brahmin, and you have come to my home. Please be satisfied with whatever little food you received and give up your greedy mentality. So he was, how to say, trying to petition Nityananda like that. So then Nityananda replied, oh, whatever I may be, you have invited me, that's why supply as much as you want to eat. So that loving exchange was there, Nityananda and Advaita.
Actually, Gurudev and Sri Caitanya conversation.
So Advaita Acarya, after hearing the statement of Nityananda, took the opportunity presented by the joking words and spoke to him. You're Paramahamsa, you're renunciate. You have accepted the renounced order of life just to fill up your belly. I can understand that your business is to give trouble to Brahmanas. Advaita accused Nityananda by saying, oh, you can eat 10, 20 mans of rice. I'm a poor Brahman. How shall I get so much rice for you? So, whatever you have, though it be a palmful of rice, please eat it and get up. Don't show your madness and don't throw the remnants of food here and there. In this way, Nityananda Prabhu and Lord Mahaprabhu ate and talked to Advaita. And Advaita jokingly was talking to them. So, as soon as the half of the vegetables in the pot was finished, Advaita Acharya filled it up again. In this way, as the Lord finished half the preparation, Advaita again and again filled it up. Again and again, giving more and more and more. So, after filling a pot with vegetables, Advaita requested them to eat more, and Mahaprabhu said, how much more can I go on eating? So, Nityananda was more enthusiastic. But Mahaprabhu was not externally enthusiastic, but only inside. But still they were eating more and more, and Advaita was giving more and more. So Advaita said, please do not give up whatever I have already given you. Now whatever I'm giving, you may eat half and leave half. In this way, submitting many humble requests, Advaita made Mahaprabhu and Nityananda eat. Nityananda and Gauranga were fulfilling the desires of Advaita Acharya, actually. Then Nityananda jokingly said, oh, my belly is not yet filled up. Please take away your food. I have not taken the least of it. So Nityananda is in that mood of voracious eater. So after saying that, he took a handful of rice and threw it on the floor in front of him, and as if he was angry. So when 2 or 4 pieces of the thrown rice touched his body, Advaita began to dance in various ways with the rice and stuck to his body, because he received the prasad of Lord Nityananda and he started to dance. So when the rice thrown by Lord Nityananda touched his body, Advaita thought himself purified by the touch of the remnants by Paramahamsa Nityananda. So he started dancing and dancing in Advaita Bhavan, Shantipur. So Advaita jokingly said, "My dear Nityananda, I invited you, and indeed I have received the remnants. Now you have fixed caste. Oh, you have no fixed caste, yeah, and dynasty, but by nature you're a madman. So to make a madman like yourself, you have thrown the remnants of your food at me. You did not even fear the fact that I'm a Brahmana." So completely joking conversation. Actually, Advaita was so much happy in his heart. So Nityananda replied, "These are the remnants of food left by Lord Krishna. If you take them to be ordinary remnants, you have committed an offense. So, and if you invite at least 100 sannyasis to your home and feed them sumptuously, your offense will be nullified after that. So you neglected prasad." So after this, Advaita Acharya made the Lord wash their hands and mouth, and then he took them to a nice bed and made them lie down and take rest. Advaita Acharya fed the two lords cloves and cardamom mixed with tulsi flowers. Thus they were a good flavor with their mouths. Some devotees having Gauranga Nityananda deities in your houses, huh? Such a nice meditation for you. Also, I've just come from Poland, in Warsaw. In one house there were Gauranga Nityananda deities, and I had to put them down to rest and wake them up, you know. So very nice katha for me. Advaita then smeared the bodies of the lords with sandalwood pulp and then placed very fragrant flower garlands on their chests. And when the Lord lay down on the bed, Advaita waited to massage his legs, but the Lord was very hesitant and spoke to Advaita. He said, "Oh, Advaita Acharya, you have made me dance in various ways. Now give up this practice. Go with Mukunda and Haridas and accept your lunch." And then Advaita Acharya took prasad with Mukunda and Haridas, and they wholeheartedly took full portions of prasad, not just one morsel, but sumptuously they took together. Then people of Shantipur heard that Gauranga Mahaprabhu was staying there in Shantipur, and immediately they came to see his lotus feet. So many people came, and all the people were loudly shouting the holy name of Hari, Hari. Indeed, they were struck with wonder, and when they saw the beauty of the Lord. Mahaprabhu's appearance is so strikingly wonderful. Everyone is mesmerized when they see, both in Navadvip and Jagannath Puri. But this particular pastime is very special because just after sannyas, this is the beginning of sannyas pastime, but it's not yet in Puri. It's in Navadvip still. He's saying goodbye to so many devotees. Many of them will be going to see him in Puri yearly for the 4 months of Chaturmas, and some of them will not be able to see him for a long time. So anyway, many of them, it's said that millions actually came to see him. So the devotees saw Mahaprabhu's very fair complexioned body and bright luster, which conquered the brilliance of the sun. Over and above this was the beauty of the saffron garments that glittered upon his body. People came and went with great pleasure. There was no calculating how many people assembled there before the day was over. No calculating. They say millions, but actually no calculating. If Kaviraj Goswami says no calculating, means really so. As soon as it was the evening, as evening came, Advaita Acharya began the congregational chanting, started kirtan. So tumultuous the crowd produced the tumultuous sound of kirtan. It was great, huge, tumultuous sound performance with all kinds of judges and kartals and gongs and bugles and mridangas. And when Advaita Acharya began to dance, Nityananda Prabhu began dancing behind him. Haridas Thakur, being very pleased, also began dancing behind him. Advaita Acharya said, "My dear friends, what shall I say? Today I have received the highest transcendental pleasure. After many, many days, Lord Krishna is in my house." So Gurudev was asked on many occasions, sometimes Mahaprabhu is revealing his Bhagavata during Navadvip Lila, like in Mahaprakash, the great revelation, Shataprahariya Mahaprakash. His great revelation, which was going on in Srivastakur's house for 21 hours, with just a 3-hour stop before sunrise. So he was sometimes showing incarnations, and for a long time he was revealing those incarnations for many devotees. He showed a 6-armed form for Nityananda. He showed Ramachandra avatar for for Murari Gupta, and also Varahadev for Murari Gupta, and so many others. So how is it that in Navadvip, which is the place of sweetness, the Lord shows those avatars? That's Aishwarya, isn't it? Yeah, but that Aishwarya never stops and never covers Madhurya. It's like grass, tiny piece of grass, which is in the boiling milk. Sometimes it can be seen on the surface. Sometimes, most of the time, it's inside. It cannot be seen in the boiling milk. So when it's seen on the surface, it doesn't really impress the cook. The cook continues to cook. Oh, one piece of grass, never mind. Doesn't spoil the milk. So okay, it's just there. Oh, by the way, some avatars. No harm. Still, it's sweetness. So the avatars, they make sweetness even more saturated. It's not that they take something away from the sweetness. It just gives more variety to the sweetness. So Advaita Acharya then led the Sankirtan party, and with great pleasure he sang a verse. And then there was a great manifestation of ecstatic perspiration, shivering, raised hairs, tears, and sometimes thundering and bellowing. While dancing, Advaita Acharya would sometimes turn around and catch the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Advaita Acharya would then say, "Now you are again in my house, and I will keep you bound up. Here you are, I've caught you." So Advaita was jubilating. So by great pleasure for 3 hours that night, and danced all the time dancing. In the spiritual world, every word is a song and every step is a dance. Shriya Kanta Kanta Paramapurusha Kalpataravo Travavo Mischintamani Gunamayi Tamamritam Ganam Natyam Gamanamapivam Shipriya Saki Ganam Natyam Gamanam. So every word is a song and every step is a dance. It's the nature of spiritual world. So Gauranga felt ecstatic love for Krishna, and because of his separation, the waves of flames of love increased. Here we are with witnesses of Gauranga's ecstasy. Yeah. First, it manifested when he was initiated by Ishvara Puripad, and when he came to Navadvip, he became Bhavoknimai. So his devotees started dancing with him, singing with him in Srivastakur's house. But now the second wave is coming after sannyas, which brings him all the way to Jagannath Puri and the ecstatic manifestations at Rath Yatra. So being agitated by the ecstasy, Gauranga Mahaprabhu suddenly fell to the ground. Seeing this, Advaita Acharya stopped dancing. When Mahaprabhu saw the ecstasy of Mukunda, saw the ecstasy of Mahaprabhu, he understood the feelings of the Lord and began to sing many verses, augmenting the force of the Lord's ecstasy. Advaita raised the body of Mahaprabhu to help him dance, but the Lord, after hearing the stanzas sung by Mukunda, could not be held due to his bodily symptoms. The tears fell from his eyes, and his whole body trembled. His hair stood on end, He perspired heavily, and his words faltered. Sometimes he stood, and sometimes he fell, and sometimes he cried. So when Mother Shachi came, he saw Gauranga, and she saw Gauranga, and she was so much worried because every time he was standing up, he was falling down again with a tumultuous sound, as if huge mountains was falling. So the devotees were afraid, oh, he will break his bones, like this. Remember how Gauranga and Nityananda first met? They were having that same manifestation of ecstasy, of falling down like two mountains. And devotees were afraid, oh, Krishna Rakho, that Krishna save him. Or like two belly dancers, Gauranga and Nityananda were flying up, like great, thin, belly dancers, and then again crashing down onto the ground, full weight, like tumultuous sound of two mountains crashing down, and oh, he will break his bones. Krishna Rakho. So Nanda Acharya's house. So now it's in Advaita's house after Gauranga's sannyas. So sweet, to hear. We're not just hearing, actually. We're envisioning our participation. We will be participating in those kirtans. We have to have faith because Srila Gurudev has given us that. Srila Gurudeva ki jai. This is not just, what's it, bell letter. It's reading something. No, we're not even dreaming, we're envisioning. Not like Sahaja type, but we're just, how to say, preparing ourselves. Yes, preparing ourselves for entering the lila, even now. So when many Gaura Bhaktas, sincere like you, when they gather, then we can really hear and prepare. Like it's not just sometime, somewhere. It's not foreign. It's our possession, our wealth. So yes. Oh, Mukunda is a great singer. Mukunda, the Datta brothers, Mukunda and Vasudev. So they are Snigdakant, Madhukant, Snigdakant in Krishna Lila, the two singers at the courthouse of the courtyard of Nanda Baba. So Mukunda sang, Ha ha prana priya sakhi, kina hoila more, kano prema vishe mora, tano manajari. My dear intimate friend, O Sakhi, Radhika is singing to Lalita probably, some other, probably Lalita. What has not happened to me? Due to the effects of the poison of love for Krishna, my body and mind have been severely afflicted. Ratri dene pore mora, soyanti na pan, yahan gele kano pan, tahan udiyan. My feeling is like this, my mind burns day and night, and I can get no rest. If there was some place I could go to meet Krishna, I would immediately fly there. So these two verses, Mukunda sang. And when Mahaprabhu heard that, his mind went to pieces. His mind just broke into pieces, exploded. The transcendental ecstatic symptoms of disappointment, moroseness, pleasure, restlessness, pride, and humility all began to fight like soldiers within the Lord. All contradictory moods. The whole principle of spiritual world, and it's the abode of most contradicting principles. Generally, like they find peace, right? Like we sometimes hear, oh, there's gopis of the right wing, gopis of the left wing, Radhika's group, Chandravali's group, and they're fighting. Okay, but that fight is actually the variety which is typical for harmony, right? But within, it's a bit different, subject, but the principle is the same. That within the heart of the Mahaprabhu, so many moods which are seemingly contradicting were meeting perfect harmony. So when something is boiling like a milk or some sugarcane juice, right? the process is intense, but the process is right also. Intense, but it goes towards ecstasy. So ecstasy is very good, it's right. So in that same way, Mahaprabhu's heart was like that, like boiling, and like something boiling is hot, isn't it? And it can be, somebody can think that, oh, boiling is not good, but actually it's good. So in that same way, these feelings, disappointment, moroseness, pleasure, restlessness, pride, and humility were all mixing within Mahaprabhu's heart, and they were fighting like armies of soldiers. That's the heart of Radhika. Because Radhika, you remember, she speaks how Radhika spoke to Bumblebee. You know, many types of jalpa, of mad speech. This jalpa, that jalpa, many types. So they were going one after another, sometimes contradicting. She was rebuking Krishna, then she was saying, oh, okay, you are the messenger of Krishna, and no, that's Acarya. So Mahaprabhu, that's why he was experiencing so many contradicting features, contradicting moods. Fighting, but that fighting was like boiling, right? We can see water boiling, milk boiling, sugarcane juice boiling, but it's like, looks like fighting. Like temperature is fighting the liquid and something, but actually it's harmonious, full harmony, like a volcano. Volcano is doing good thing, it's erupting by the laws of nature. So in that same way, it was coming out of Mahaprabhu's heart. The entire body of Mahaprabhu began to totter due to onslaught of various ecstatic symptoms. As a result, he immediately fell on the ground, and his breathing almost stopped. Upon seeing the condition of the Lord, all the devotees became very anxious. Then suddenly the Lord got up and began to make thundering sounds. Upon standing up, the Lord said, "Go on speaking, go on speaking. Bol, bol, boli, nachi, anandi vihar. Bol, 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 bol," he was shouting, "Speak, go on speaking." Thus he began to dance, overwhelmed with pleasure. No one could understand the strong waves of his ecstasy. Nityananda began to walk with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to see that he would not fall. Nityananda always looking after. Balaram was looking after Krishna, and Nityananda was looking after Mahaprabhu. Nityananda was actually the only person who could stop Mahaprabhu's ecstasy. When, according to the plan of the lila, the transcendental plan, the Lord's desire, how the lila should go, some conditions had to be stopped. Then Nityananda was regulating. Nityananda was driving. Nityananda is the pushing force. That's why Nityananda's chariot goes first. Balaram's chariot goes first. He's always pushing force. And then, Balaram. Then second goes Subhadra, and then Jagannath. So, in the same way, Nityananda was supporting him, stabilizing him.
Yeah, but first comes
Balaram.
Sudarshan.
Oh. Anyway, in this way, the Lord danced for at least 3 hours. Sometimes the symptoms of ecstasy were visible, including pleasure, moroseness, and many other waves of ecstatic emotional love. The Lord had been fasting for 3 days, yes. He was also fasting, Nityananda was fasting, and the Lord was fasting, so they were going towards Radhadesh. And since the Lord was a bit weakened by a long fast, and then he became a little fatigued in the end. So, being fully absorbed in the love of Godhead, he would not understand his fatigue. But Nityananda Prabhu was understanding his fatigue, so he was doing accordingly. He was supporting him, catching him, and he was stopping his dance. Okay, come on, stopping him. Like this. Although the Lord was fatigued, Nityananda kept him steady by holding him. At that time, Advaita suspended the chanting, and by rendering various service to the Lord, made him lie down to take rest. So Nityananda and Advaita, you remember two first expansions, they're called Angas. The two the divisions of the trunk, the first two huge branches. That's why both of them are Vishnu Tattva, Bhagavad Tattva. So Nityananda and Advaita, therefore, can support the Lord nicely in his ecstasy. For 10 continuous days, Advaita Acarya held feasting and chanting in the evening. He served the Lord in his way without any change. In the morning, Chandrasekhar brought Shachimata from the house with many devotees. Finally, many more devotees came and Shachimata came. He seated her in the palanquin. In this way, all the people of the town of Nadia, women, boys, and old men came there. Thus the crowd increased. Everybody came, but the one person, who was that? Vishnupriya Devi. She could not come. Vishnupriya could not come because the former wife of a sannyasi must not see. So she stayed back. But mother came, Shachi came.
She performed her duty by staying.
Yeah. In the morning, after regular duties were completed, and the Lord was chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Some people say, oh, Gauranga was not chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. No. Hare Krishna Tyuchai. Rupa Goswami Pad is saying that really that was Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So the Lord was chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Nama Sankirtan means Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The people accompanied Shachimata to the house of Advaita. As soon as Mother Shachi appeared in the scene, Caitanya Mahaprabhu fell before her like a stick. Mother Shachi began to cry, taking the Lord on her lap. Oh, the only person in the three worlds who can take the Lord on her lap is certainly Mother Shachi. Upon seeing each other, they both became overwhelmed. Seeing the Lord's head without hair, Mother Shachi became greatly agitated. No hair. You know, hair is so nice, not only for ladies, for young men also. But Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu were having their long hair. But now Mahaprabhu is with shaved head. So, seeing the Lord's head without hair, Mother Shachi became greatly agitated, and out of love she began to caress the body of the Lord. Sometimes she kissed his face and tried to observe him carefully. But because her eyes were filled with tears, she could not see. Sometimes, like she wanted to see all the details on his body, but filled with tears, so she could not see properly. So, understanding that Lord Chaitanya had accepted the renounced order of life, Shachimata crying said to the Lord, my darling Nimai, do not be cruel like Vishwarupa, your elder brother. Because Vishwarupa came without any knowledge. He came out. He went to the south. Nothing was known. And she never showed up. He never showed up to his mother. And that's why Mother Shachi asked Mahaprabhu, please don't be as cruel as your brother. That means sometimes make yourself available. Let me sometimes see you. So, after accepting the renounced order, Vishwarup never again gave me audience. If you do like him, that will certainly be death for me.
Sadhu Maharaj, this is very it's a very interesting pastime. It's a very interesting pastime because, for example, if we go to Sri Caitanya Gaudiya Math on Bhakti Siddhanta Marg, we see like Bhagavati Devi, the holy Mahasamadhi of Bhagavati Devi. In and even this Om Vishnu Bhakti Dai Madhava Goswami, he had this pastime also with his dear mother when she would come. He would massage her feet. This very interesting.
Bhagavati Devi means Bhaktivedanta course.
Bhagavati Devi was Bhakti Siddhanta. Thakur Bhakti Vinod's lovely. Was it Bhagavati Devi?
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mother?
Yes.
Samadhi.
Bhakti Devi.
Okay.
His mother Samadhi is
Okay.
in yoga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So
Yes, Thakur.
In the line of Mahaprabhu,
Yeah, it's very interesting.
it's respected, and
a sannyasi can see his parents, but in a neutral place, not in the house. In a neutral place. That's the system.
Which can be the mat.
Can be the mat, can be any place, but not their house. Cannot go to their house. It's the regulation. So the Lord replied, "My dear mother, please hear. This body belongs to you. You do not possess anything. I do not possess anything. This body was raised by you, and it comes from you. I cannot repay you this debt, even in millions of births. Knowingly or unknowingly, I have accepted this renounced order. Still, I shall never be indifferent to you. My dear mother, wherever you ask me to stay, I shall stay, and whatever you order, I shall execute." So, sannyasi can be gentle egoist to his mother. Saying this, the Lord offered obeisances to his mother again and again, and Mother Shachi, being pleased, took him again and again on her lap. On her lap.
Oh.
Then Advaita Acharya took Mother Shachi within the house. The Lord was immediately ready to meet all the devotees. The Lord met all the devotees one after another, and looking at everyone's face individually, he embraced them tightly. Although the devotees were unhappy at not seeing the Lord's hair, they nonetheless derived great happiness from seeing his beauty. So many devotees are mentioned here now. Srivas, Ramai, Vidyanidhi, Gadadhar, Gangadas, Vakreshwar, Murari, Shuklambar, Buddhimanta, Khan, Nanda, Sridhar, Vijay, Vasudev, Damodar, Mukunda, Sanjay. Smiles and glances of mercy. Everyone was chanting the holy names of Hari and dancing. In this way, Advaita Acharya, the house of Advaita Acharya was converted that day into Vaikuntha Puri. People came to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from various other villages nearby, as well as Navadvip town. To everyone who came to see the Lord from villages nearby, especially from Navadvip, Advaita gave residential quarters as well as all kinds of eatables for many days. Indeed, he properly adjusted everything. The supplies of Advaita Acharya are inexhaustible and indestructible. As many goods and commodities as he used, just as many again appeared. So Shachimata, when she came, she took charge of all the cooking, and Mahaprabhu dined in the company of all the devotees, taking the cooking of his mother. So all the people who came there during the day saw Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu and the friendly behavior of Advaita. At night, they had the opportunity to see the Lord dancing and hear his chanting. When the Lord performed kirtan, he manifested all kinds of transcendental symptoms. He appeared stunned and trembling. His head stood on end and his voice faltered. There were tears and devastation. Frequently, the Lord would tumble to the ground. Seeing this, Mother Shachi would cry. She would, like every time he would see him fall to the surface of the earth, please don't let him feel any pain. The Shachi was thus overwhelmed. Mahaprabhu was continuing to dance. So
This was in the night.
Day and night both. Being agitated with the ecstasy, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suddenly fell to the ground. Seeing this, Advaita Acharya stopped dancing. When Mukunda saw the ecstasy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he understood the feelings of the Lord and began to sing many stanzas, augmenting the force of the Lord's ecstasy. So, the great Kirtaniyas like Mukunda Datta and certainly Sarup Damodar Goswami, Raya Ramananda, they could utter certain stanzas, shlokas, in order to make the Lord peaceful, and also according to the moods of his ecstasy, they were experts. And then at certain point he could not dance anymore and he just fell flat, so they were trying to revive him by chanting those verses. Then Advaita Acharya raised the body of Mahaprabhu to help him dance, but the Lord, after hearing the stanzas sung by Mukunda, could not be held due to his bodily symptoms. So he came back to more or less external consciousness, but because of the bodily symptoms were pertaining, holding him, he could not be held by Advaita. It was not possible. Tears fell from his eyes, and his whole body trembled. His hair stood on end. He perspired heavily, and his words faltered. Sometimes he stood and then the many devotees were observing the bodily manifestations of the Lord. And okay. Shachimata said, as far as you are concerned, you can meet Nimai, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, many times somewhere else. Moment. Okay, since Advaita Acharya was giving alms and food to Mahaprabhu, the other devotees headed by Srivas also decided to give him alms and invite him for lunch. Okay, so
Srivas had moved.
yeah. But no, Srivas moved after he took sannyas. Then he went to Kumarahatta. Then he was still in his
Katwa.
not Katwa. Srivas had two houses, Srivasangan and Kumarahatta. So he moved to Kumarahatta after Mahaprabhu took sannyas, but then he was still staying in his house, his normal house, and he invited Gauranga there. As far as you are concerned, you can meet Nimai many times somewhere else, but I will not have a possibility to meet him again. I shall remain at home, and sannyasi never returns to his home, so please let me feed him now. So she was begging from them. As long as Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu remained at the house of Advaita Acharya, only she would supply him food, so he made his preference also towards Mother Shachi. Only Mother Shachi could feed him really when he was at her, next to her. Hearing this appeal from Mother Shachi, all the devotees offered obeisances and said, "Oh, we'll agree to whatever Mother Shachi says." Okay, Mother Shachi says, this is the rule for us, so we'll follow. So they allowed her to cook for Nimai. When Gauranga saw his mother's great eagerness, he became a little agitated. He therefore assembled all the devotees present and spoke to them Mahaprabhu informed them, "Without your order, I tried to go to Vrindavan. There was some obstacle, however, and I had to return. My dear friends, although I suddenly accepted this renounced order, I still know that I shall never be indifferent to you. My dear friends, as long as I remain manifest, I shall never give you up, nor shall I be able to give up my mother. After accepting sannyas, it is not the duty of a sannyasi to remain at his birthplace, encircled by relatives. Make some arrangement so that I may not leave you, and at the same time people may not blame me for remaining with relatives after taking sannyas." After hearing Lord Chaitanya's statements, all the devotees headed by Advaita approached Mother Shachi. So they submitted Lord Chaitanya's statements to her, and Shachi Mata said, "It will be a great happiness for me and Nimai if Nimai stays here, but at the same time, if somebody blames him, that will be my great unhappiness." So she knew the rules for sannyasi. Sannyasi cannot stay with his mother or near his mother. So she understood that he had to go. But she continued, "This consideration is good. In my opinion, if Nimai remains in Jagannath Puri, he may not leave any one of us, and at the same time can remain aloof as a sannyasi. Thus, both purposes are fulfilled." So she asked them make rooms of the same house, and going and coming is not so difficult. In this way, I will be able to get news from him. All of you devotees will be able to come and go, and sometimes he might also come and take his bath in the Ganga. So when all devotees were visiting Mahaprabhu yearly, every year they were going to Jagannath Puri for Ratha Yatra to see the Lord. Mother Shachi was still staying in Navadvip. She was not going with them. She continued, "I do not care for my personal happiness and unhappiness, but only for his happiness. Indeed, I accept his happiness as my happiness." After hearing Shachi Mata, all the devotees offered her prayers and assured her that her order, like a Vedic injunction, would not be violated. All the devotees informed Lord Chaitanya of Shachi Mata's decision. Hearing it, the Lord became very pleased. "So, my dear friends," the Lord said, "you are all my intimate friends. Now I am begging a favor of you. Please give it to me." He requests some pathetic words. Haridas said, who served every day. Every night there was a great festival of congregational chanting, Harinam Sankirtan. Mother Shachi cooked with great pleasure, and Mahaprabhu, along with the devotees, accepted prasad with great pleasure. In this way, all the opulences of Advaita Acharya, his faith, devotion, home, riches, and everything else, were successfully utilized in the worship of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. As Mother Shachi continuously saw the face of her son and fed him, her own happiness increased and was indeed complete. In this way, at Advaita Acharya's house, all the devotees met and passed some days together in a greatly festive mood. It said about 10 days they spent together. The next day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all the devotees to return to their respective homes. Also, he asked them to execute the congregational chanting and assured them they would be able to meet him again. He said to them, sometimes you'll be able to come to Jagannath Puri and sometimes I'll come bathe in the Ganga. So Advaita Acharya sent 4 personalities, Nityananda, Jagadananda Pandit, Damodar Pandit, and Mukunda Datta, to accompany the Lord. Thus, they accompanied him to Jagannath Puri, and then the Lord pacified his mother, Shachimata, and submitted prayers at her lotus feet. When everything was arranged, he started for Jagannath Puri. So Advaita Acharya was following him weeping. After Advaita Acharya had followed Lord Chaitanya for some distance, he was petitioned by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord spoke to him, please pacify all the devotees and my mother. If you become agitated, no one will be able to continue to exist. Saying this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Advaita Acharya and stopped him from following any further. Then, without anxiety, he proceeded to Jagannath Puri. So with the 4 other persons, Nityananda, Jagadananda, Mukunda, and someone else, they went along the banks of the Ganges and proceeded towards Jagannath Puri. So now listen to the benediction to those who listen to these pastimes. If one hears the activities of the Lord at the house of Advaita Acharya, he will certainly very soon attain the riches of love of Krishna. Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu ki jai, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Rupa Raghunath Padiyarash Chaitanya Charitamrita Kai Krishnadas. Praying at the lotus feet of Rupa and Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I Krishnadas narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita following their footsteps. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu ki jai, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. I was so happy today, really, to hear about Gauranga's pastimes in front of Thakuraji. Yeah, please.
Where is the hair for the now after the shave Krishna? Where is the hair?
Oh, it's in the Samadhi. It was put in the Samadhi. In Katwa, there's a special pavilion. It's called the Kesha Samadhi. The Samadhi of Mahaprabhu's hair.
How's the long hair?
You cannot see. It's inside. Very long. Like this. Yeah.
You chant Hare Krishna.
Yes. So, dear devotees, thank you so much. We'll sing Arati soon. I was quite tired today after 22-hour bus ride from Poland, yes. So that's why. But anyway, it was Gurudev's mercy that something was able to be pronounced. So please come in the evenings. We'll be very happy to see you. Great festivals are coming. Tomorrow I can go to Lila. Tomorrow we'll hear how Mahaprabhu arrived at the Jagannath Puri and his meetings with Sarvabhauma probably. Let's see what comes up. And Tuesday is Sri Gadadhar Pandit's disappearance and Bhaktivinoda disappearance, very big day. And then Gundicha Marjana. We'll try to clean the temple also on that day. And then
No.
last day is
Tuesday,
Rath Yatra. Wednesday. Gundicha Marjana is Wednesday, and Thursday, the 4th, is Rath Yatra day. We'll be able also to watch it online from Puri.
The Gundicha Marjana is back Bhaktivinoda's.
It's Wednesday.
Just after Wednesday, yeah. Bhaktivinoda's Tuesday, Gadadhar. Gundicha Marjana Wednesday, Rath Yatra Thursday. So let's celebrate together. If anyone has any more questions, remarks, most welcome. Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's 8 o'clock. So, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Thank you well. Shiva Gurudeva ki.
Maharaj ki.